Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And I have quite an exhausting video that I've got to give over to you today. Right now, I'm going to go over the second episode of Doctor Who Flux. Are we separating this from Doctor Who? Is this like different from Doctor Who now? Now it has a different title. I don't know. Whatever you want to go. So Doctor Who Flux. We're going to be looking at the episode. Now listen, I'm 50 years of age. I've lived not a long time, but I've lived. I've seen a fair amount of stuff. You know, I've seen a fair amount of things go down in my lifetime. You know, you can expect to. As you get older, you will see strange and bizarre things. You know, you'll see a dead body. You'll be offered a hand job by a Karney. You know, all kinds of things will be offered to you as time goes on in your life. So something I never expected to see was a episode of Doctor Who by Chris Chibnall, starring Jodie Whittaker, which was in places not bad, in fact, reasonably thrilling in places. That's the word I'm looking for. Reasonably thrilling. None of the places with Jodie Whittaker in. I want to be absolutely clear. You know, you can't polish that turd. But it ran along a nice place. And there's a lot to recommend it, right? There was a lot to say. This looked pretty good. Again, all the bits without Jodie Whittaker. Now, when you go into it in more detail, there's a lot of plot holes. But here's the thing. I don't know where I am with this right now, because I think if this was not such an obnoxiously awful era that has openly hated me for my skin color, and they probably don't like Jews either, let's be honest. You know, they're all big Jeremy Corbyn fans, but if they didn't openly hate me and produce really bad, awful Doctor Who for years and years and years, that lectured me and lectured me while doing the things they were lecturing me against. They said, oh, racism is bad, bigotry is bad, and being horribly racist and bigoted at the same time. You know, maybe I'll give this more of a pass. But, you know, like, honestly, my opinion, your opinion doesn't really matter that much. The fan opinion doesn't matter that much. In fact, nothing really matters. This is a lame duck session of Doctor Who. But it's the normie opinion. I don't think they're going to win the normies back over, right? I think it's too little too late. I got the first hint of viewing figures. But look, this video is going to take me a fair amount of time. We got a lot to go by. I painstakingly took screen grabs from, like, a lot of the episode. Like 147 of them. Okay, so like there's a lot of data we have to get, because there's a fair amount to talk about. Do I consider this Doctor Who? No, I don't. No, I don't. Even though it's very Doctor Who-y in places, and the Sontarans are pretty darn good. Like a lot of things are pretty darn good. Again, not Jodie Whittaker. Fine, so let's get to the episode. Before can you hit the like button? That'd be fantastic. Thank you very much. Can you hit the share button? Even more fantastic. Thank you very much. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. That's what I really do want you to hit, right? But most of all, please subscribe. Why do I want you to subscribe? I don't know. I sat and I thought about this many hours of my life. I don't know why I want you to subscribe, but I do want you to subscribe. So there you go. Let's do all those good things. Fine, so let's pull up these screen grabs. So we start off with the previously on Doctor Who. And we get to see, this is actually a really bad still, this villain. Now, I find the visual of this villain really kind of lame. I mean, him and his sister Azure, they look like they're from Terrorhawks to me. They look, you know, like, I like Doomlord's camper brother, right? You know, it just doesn't, but I love the actor playing him, and they play him with real malice and relish, and it's very scenery chewing, so I do like them. I'm convinced this is a piss take of Lawrence Fox, is it? And also, here's the thing, like this episode, it's so cliched Doctor Who of exactly the kind that Chris Chibnall said he hated in the 80s. Right, so this screen grab over here is basically saying, we played the game again, Time Lord. Or, no, this is our final battle. It's like very generic Doctor Who, and it's the stuff he said he hated, which he's really doing. Maybe that's his idea. So so we get a little bit more of a member berry from that last episode. God, she's so awful, Jodie Whittaker. I always wondered. What do you always wonder? What the end of the world would feel, end of the universe would feel like. Firstly, who cares what it feels like? I mean, again, nothing gets more, irrational female stereotype than you go, oh, me feelings are a bit delicate, right? You know, that it's not a good idea. You know, so, just think these things through, right? So anyway, you got this big dust cloud, the Flux chasing the TARDIS. Said, take this, cop this, Flux! And she breaks the TARDIS and squirts time energy into it. Yes, and doesn't really do much. It hits the TARDIS, woo, and it goes blank, and you get the cloister bell. We'll way overuse cloister bell. So then we start off, Jodie wakes up, and she's in black and white, and she seems a bit groggy over here. Yeah, she's all in black and white. And then there's this weird floating house right next to her, right? This weird floating house. I reckon this is, if it's not Lungbarrow, the Doctor's ancestral home from... the novel Lungbarrow that's part of the Andrew Cartmel master plan. It's some rip-off of that, right? Some weird rip-off of that. And she's like reaches out to touch it, and then it vanishes. We're not going to see that again for a couple of weeks, who knows? And then they wake up, and she's in the Crimea, right? She's like, where am I? I mean, darling, look around you, right? You don't need to get your sonic screwdriver out, wave it around, Ooh, no, you're in the Crimea War. Look, man, like, you know, I could have worked that out. Here, look. Let me just, like, look at these things. Dead soldiers, British flags, you know, red coats, Crimea-y weather. You know, yes, you're in the Crimea War. She can't work it out because she's Dr. Jodie. Dr. Jodie's not very, very clever. So then they're there. They're trying to work out what happened. I just woke up here, like. And then Mary Seacole, the essential star of the episode, comes up and says, what are you doing? Don't let me see your hands. And for some reason, they'll put their hands up, right? I don't know why they're scared of why they surrender to it. It's really weird. This is a scene from the trailer, which is, I'm the Doctor. This is Jazz. That's that bit right over there. So what are you taking from the corpses? Now, I have to say, I was really scared. This is the reason why I'm not like crapping all over this episode. I really thought this would be really preachy, like really heavy-handed, really unsubtle. No, they really handled her well, right? They didn't go into as much detail as the Big Finish story that they went into, but she wasn't a cipher, right? I feel like Rosa was basically a Mary Sue cipher, wasn't a real character. Where I felt like this one was more of a real character. It could just be because the actress was able to imbue it with some level of authenticity, right? So we're still at the pre-title sequence. So far, so good. I wrote in my notes as I'm watching it. So far, so good, right? So then we get this. Oh yeah, no, we do get a little vomit in your mouth section. She said, "Hey, so what's your name?" She said, "Doctor. Doctor, that's a man's word. Why are you called the Doctor?" And then Dr. Jodie says, "Oh, it's a fluid." And oh God, shut up with your weird religion. Where, like, you know, everything fluid. It's your weird religion that most people don't belong to. It's just that you people with this weird religion have complete control over media, and so you want to, like, tell us. So just shut up with your fluid. If you want to be fluid, fine. Okay, fine. Don't go on. No. So yeah, I forgot there was a quick vomit in your mouth moment there. So you know, okay, fine. I watched it, so you did it. So then the Doctor's asking about all different captains, like where are we in the Crimea War? Where the Russian troops were holding? And Mary Seacole's like, who are the Russians? I never heard of these Russian people. He says, so show me who you're fighting, and she shows him this. Sontaran rides up on a horse, and you see lots of Sontarans, and then goes into titles. Now that's a great pre-title scene. Have you noticed they brought back the cold opening again after getting rid of that? Yeah, man, that makes a difference. I just realized that, right? That, man, Doctor Who really, the modern version of Doctor Who really needs that. So anyway, we're in a really good opening so far, right? We're in a really good, clever opening. It sets up a good mystery. It's very Doctor Who-y. So, like, I'm very impressed. Like, I'm very impressed. I can't, it's really important to me that I'm honest. And I don't just trash anything because I haven't liked the rest of it. And I haven't liked the rest of it. I think it's been, effectively evil, right? And I really mean that. Like, absolutely. But this was good. This was good. This felt like Doctor Who. Now, again, I think the tragedy of it is it's too late because the normies would have really enjoyed this on season 11, right? If this is what season 11 looked like, Jonah's tenure would have been completely different, right? Completely different. I just wish they cared enough back then. They were scared enough back then, But I guess not. So anyway, we have the titles, and you remember, oh god, the titles are all. Although generally speaking, the incidental music is much stronger this episode. So then after that, we go to Vinda. I have trouble giving a shit about this character, right? Like, who is he? Who cares? I don't know. This episode, he becomes very, very, very clearly a Captain Jack stand-in. And it would have made a lot more sense for character. So much so that if you remember seeing Star Trek 6, you had this new character, Valeris, and you're like, who? What's going on? Who's this Valeris? Like, okay. And then when you find out that was supposed to be Savik, you're like, oh, that would have made sense, right? So, like, same thing with this. After you realize he's supposed to be Captain Jack, especially when by the time we get to the ending, right? So then he wakes up and he's in one of the major locations of this episode. It's called the we don't find out yet, but there's this floating robot triangle thing. We can see here this little. Here, I'll zoom in on it for you. No, this thing over here, and floating around saying, "Can you repair? Can you repair?" And he said, "The temple is compromised." So what? Well, we don't know what that means. So they go in. He sees more of this temple. And it's got this kind of like panopticon-y kind of feel. There's some ancient temporal thing going on with this. They're on I'm not sure if they tell you the name of it right now, but they're on the planet of time, and it's like, really, it's very weird. And they want them to repair something. If you see, there are these figures that keep these like hologrammatic figures that appear on these plinths. And then one of them is kind of like two of them are flickering. They flicker between like burnt out husk, like that, and okay. So it keeps going between this and this. I think they're called the Moray, right? The Moray. We find out more about them as the episode goes along. So then Mary Seacole takes them to the British Hotel, which again, Mary Seacole, freaking incredible person, and I think the people who say that our education system is somewhat white centric, somewhat that isn't really well rounded enough, isn't. I always think that's kind of bollocks to a certain extent. And then Mary Seacole just wins the argument for them. She's just an incredible person in history. Did an incredible, privately pay for her own passage to the Crimea to tend for people, and not as part of any military group. And she set up this hotel, this hospital, and essentially she sold beer and alcohol to pay for medicine, and it's just an absolutely incredible person, right? And here's the thing, they don't dwell on her skin color or her gender at all. It's really good, right? And they just like talk about and they just talk about her actual achievements, which are just freaking incredible. Absolutely incredible. So yeah. Good. Even though it's very, very 21, it's great that she's in this episode, and she's portrayed in this episode very, very well. So fine. So as they're going in there, then Dan notices his hand is glowing, as you do, and then he vanishes. Right? There's where do you go? Then the same thing starts happening to Yaz, and the doctor's like, "Oh, it's the Flux energy mixed with the temporal energy dragging you away. Or just, I'll find you, Yaz. I'll find you." And she says, "Will you really?" God, they really don't like each other. They really, they feel like they're stuck with each other, but they really don't like each other. So then at this point, she's like, Now she thinks, oh, you know what? Maybe I won't take a trip over to Mary Seacole's place. Maybe I'll go to the TARDIS and work out what the hell is going on, right? Maybe no, because again, this Doctor's a bit of a doofus. Really, this Doctor is definitely a bit of a doofus. So that's the shot. The direction in this, excellent, right? And I think the director, it was the same director as last week. I think next week as well. And he's doing episode 5, which is Village of the Angels, I think. So, but again, beautiful shot as she goes across the battlefield to get to the TARDIS. I do like this warm lighting coming out of the TARDIS. It's really, really nice. As she gets there, though, there's no doors, right? So right now, this is feeling very fan fiction-y, much more so than when Rusty Davis or Stephen Moffat got fan wanky, right? And they did get fan wanky, but it feels like there they had a real story. This is kind of like stuff to distract you from there not being much of a story. Although this episode kind of has a beginning, middle, and end, and something else that Chibnall delivers on, which I noticed he hasn't up to yet. When people complain that the episode count went down from 13 or 12 to 10, he said, it's okay, because we're going to make them 1 hour long each. And then I watch the episodes, they're like 40, 15 minutes. This is a full solid hour, right? Full solid hour. Yeah, listen, he really delivers it with really delivers it. So fine, so she's trapped outside the TARDIS. Dan, meanwhile, appears over here, back at his house. His house is missing. If you remember last week, it got shrunk down to a teeny tiny thing. So a bit mastery that thing, and then people are acting weird. They're all acting scared. They were like, "Hey, can you let me in? I'm trying to work out what's going on." And no, everyone's scared to come out. And then he looks up and he sees this massive Sontaran ship towering over Liverpool, and he starts getting chased by a squad of Sontarans. So he's running and hiding, and again. Right now, all the stuff without the Doctor feels like you're watching not bad Doctor Who, right? If it didn't have the awful Jodie Whittaker going all the way through it, they would have really had something solid there, right? So he's chasing he's being chased by Sontarans, and then it gets a bit silly. The logic of this always kind of falls apart. He's saved by these two people I don't think we met before, who turns out to be his mum and dad, who have worked out how to bonk Sontarans on the probic vent to knock them out. And they even know the word probic vent, but they don't really explain that at all. It's Chibnall writing, baby, Chibnall writing. Although, this whole, Dan and his parents are quite good. There's a woman on Twitter who was losing her shit. They're literally losing her shit because this actress was 10 years older than Dan. Really? I don't. So she was encouraging people to complain to the BBC. So that's where Dan is. He's in Liverpool. Yaz, however, has been also ends up in this temple, right? So she's wandering around, going, "What's going on?" And then she bumps into evil industrious bloke from last week, who we saw a little bit. Hey, got to dig tunnels. Got to dig more tunnels, sir. More tunnels. And all that. And why, they don't know why, but he's confused, and she's like, "Well, what year is it? Do you think this has not ports, sir?" So he's from 1820. And we no idea what's really going on there. Then the big diamond thing shows up for Yaz as well, and says, "Can you repair? Can you repair?" And now, it gets a bit cringe. I remind you, I've watched this, so you don't have to. She looks down at her hand at a message that she has written for herself. Can you see this on the screen? WWTDD. What would the Doctor do? So she does what the Doctor would do, which is absolutely incredible, right? So this thing is floating around saying, "Can you repair? Can it?" And she has no idea how, what, why. If she can repair it, what it needs to be repaired, if repairing it will be a good thing or a bad. She doesn't know, right? No idea at all. But she does what the Doctor would do. Said, "Yes, I can repair it." Yes, that's Jazz for you. Meanwhile, back at the Crimea War, the Doctor meets an evil white man. So, you know, either word white man or evil was redundant there. Obviously, evil. Evil white man. Yeah. And who's a general about to take on the Sontaran forces, right? And then she says, oh, you know what? I'm going to lecture you for a few minutes. On all the Sontarans, you can't fight the Sontarans. Oh, let me tell you, I know more than you about everything. Oh, that really goes down well. That really goes down. People respond well to that. And then she was like, so when did the Sontarans get here? And he's like, what are you talking about? They've always been here. So what do you mean? And she looks at the maps and, oh, Jamaica's still... Why are they checking Jamaica? Jamaica's still there. This is still there. And then she goes and looks at Russia, and it's Sontar. Russia and China are Sontar. So whatever happened in the past. The Sontarans have invaded the past. And the general's like, what are you wittering about, you crazy bitch? Right? You crazy. That's essentially... And he's right? He is absolutely right. So then Doctor goes with Mary Seacole to another room so she can have a David Tennant impersonation talking about Mary Seacole. And then Mary Seacole reveals that she also tends for Sontaran wounded, and we meet Dan Starkey. I'm very happy to see Dan Starkey. Dan Starkey is a wounded Sontaran. So what does Jodie Whittaker do as soon as she meets a wounded Sontaran? Look at this face. She gloats. She goes, ooh, capture, the biggest disgrace ever for a Sontaran. Look at that. I mean, like, just look at her face. I'm going to make that bigger for a second. Let's look at her freaking face. Ew, let me gloat at you. Oh, God. She's so not heroic. Here's the thing. If what you're doing is something that Skeletor would do, then it's not heroic. It's, in fact, villainous. And she does a lot of villainous stuff, you know. So here's the thing. There's a lot in this episode to recommend it. We've gone through it already. We're only about 20 minutes in, right? Probably less. There's a lot in it to recommend it. But then, you know, you got Jodie Whittaker in it and a weird representation of the Doctor, which is weird. I mean, it's just weird. It doesn't really make any sense. So it's like having a beautiful white cashmere sweater, and then if you get one blot of ink on it, it's ruined. Same with this, and it's a real shame because, as I said, there's a lot they did well here. So then she like taunts and tortures the Sontaran, but no, like because she wants to find out where they're encamped. So she says, I tell you what, we can parley. I know where the Doctor is. He's like, the Doctor, our arch enemy. Oh, no. Said, I know where the Doctor is. If you allow me to parley with your commander, I will give him that information. He's like, oh, let me go. And so she lets him go. And he's very good Dan Starkey Sontaran. Says, and he walks out, oh, scum, I will have you obliterated at a later date. I mean, like, he really knows how to do Sontarans. I think he's definitely eclipsed Kevin Lindsay, right, as the ultimate Sontaran. As he's leaving, the evil white man... Oh, sorry, the word evil was redundant. The white man was going to shoot the Sontaran, the released Sontaran, and Doc says, no, don't do that. So they go and follow him. And he goes behind this shield, this hologram shield, so they don't know where his force is. Oh, for some reason she takes Mary Seacole with her. So even though they're in a corrupted alternate timeline, why is she taking Mary Seacole with her other than she wants to hang out with Mary Seacole? Like, why are you taking her into a highly dangerous mission with extraterrestrials? Well, like, what? Like, heavily armed warlike alien. Why are you doing that? That seems like a bad idea for somebody who, like, respects and finds time important, right? So they go through the barrier. Mary Seacole's fine with all this technology. And they see all the Sontaran ships. Good effects, I think of it. And then after dragging her there for no reason that I can determine whatsoever, dragging her there, she says, "Can you wait here and make notes about their movements, about what they're doing?" Which she's already done. Like, she's already worked out they need to sleep every 27 hours or 7.5 minutes. They say that quite a few times. So meanwhile, the released Sontaran parleys with the delivers a message to the Sontaran commander. And it says I can. The person says they can find the doctor, and he asks for a slightly what's the word I'm looking for? Slightly less embarrassing death, so he can be at least die, in battle. And says, "Granted, soldier." Boom, and kills him. Meanwhile, over in Liverpool shipyards have been turned into a what's it called again? A space shipyard? I think, yeah, okay, fine. That's what I'm looking for. The Sontarans are building a fleet in the Liverpool dockyards. Apparently, they only turned up 2 days ago. And there was a blackout, and then they just appeared. They arrived in Liverpool first, and then they went out and spread around the whole world. But they came in via Liverpool. So Dan goes to check out the Sontaran camp and goes off to fight them using a wok, because that's the only weapon he has. I don't really understand this. Like, what? Like, why is he doing that? That doesn't make much sense. We're going to be saying that a few times this episode, right? We're going to be saying that more than once. So then Yaz and Vinda meet up, and again, this would make more sense. She's meeting Captain Jack because she has some kind of history with them, and they go. He's like, "Can you repair?" And he's like, "I don't even know what they're talking." He shows all the pedestals, and he's like, "I have no idea what's going on." But Yaz looks like she's going to work it out, because she's Yaz and stunning and brave and wonderful. Dan is creeping around the dockyards. He sees other people there who are called infiltrating, and they are all summarily executed. So here's something interesting about the Sontarans here. Let me just zoom in on this so you can see it. So you see, like, around the chin, like in this indentation, and it's like, okay, it seems to me they are recreating the Time Warrior Kevin Lindsay. It is Kevin Lindsay, yeah, like mask with all its imperfections, right? Because of the time, this thing they were, how they made TV at the time. But it's weird. It's like it's building in a layer of unrealism, right? So it's a strange choice. With the helmets on, they're okay. And they execute the prisoners. So I found that really quite gruesome, actually, because they're just regular people, right? It's regular people in contemporary time being executed by monsters. I think that Rusty Day was always very careful not to do that, as I recall. So back in the Crimea, the Doctor signals the energy pulse, which we saw in the trailer, to go and talk to parley with the Sontaran commander. He says, parley. So he goes and meets her in the battlefield. And, of course, she's smug and annoying. I mean, like, look, she's just smug and annoying. And she's just stupid as well. She said, "Here, take your hat off, mate." So he takes his helmet off, and he's like, all Sontaran-y. And he says, "Oh, second pulse, keep it on." Like, what do you think? Like, it's like, I don't know why they think this is heroic, because it really isn't. And then she gets a bit more sneery. Ew, I'm going to sneer and condescend to you. Oh, war, men, evil, patriarchy, why? I mean, look at, again, the face. The face says it all. So she's trying to stop the Sontarans and the British going into combat with the other, because she knows the British are going to get slaughtered. The British officer's like, screw you, baby. Screw you, bitch. We want to have our battle. And so she's arrested because all are flapping around. So then we get a few good effect shots as we see the Sontaran army walk into fort. And again, this is all very good, right? And this is the shot we saw in the trailer. The two armies going at each other. So the Doctor's like been arrested, and she's like slightly to go. So then she goes full Sylvester McCoy and touches him, and his eyes turn white and he passes out. So there, sorry about that. You'll sleep for 6 hours, but at least you'll still be alive. Okay, so then back in current day Liverpool, Dan is still infiltrating the dockyards. He climbs up a massive crane. Now Chibnall likes cranes. He's really into cranes. So for some reason he likes, so that's where he is now. To get into a what's it called again? A Sontaran ship. Back at the temple. Do we have we said what the name of the temple is yet? Just going through my notes here. Oh, the temple, it's called the Temple of Anthropos, right? Temple of Anthropos. Azor shows up, and again, they look a bit crap. They look very Jerry Anderson, right? They look, again, very Terrell, right? They show up, and they're like, so now we're at the Temple of Atropos. And the diamond thing comes in. Can you repair? I said, oh, but of course we can. Again, real bit of scenery chewing, and they use their superpowers to make the diamond thing melt, which is pretty good. So then we get some more of the battle going on, and it looks like they spent real money on it. It was quite good battles. This episode was well directed, right? This episode absolutely was well directed. Mary Seacole has taken notes on all the Sontaran ships. The battle's over, all the British are dead, and they go around then shooting them to make sure they're dead, right? The general's unconscious, and then he wakes up. And, oh my god! So then the Doctor and Mary Seacole sneak onto one of the Sontaran ships because they're all empty right now, because they've gone to fight the battle. So this is where it another reason it falls apart. Like, why not keep a full supply of your ships to defend them? That would make a lot of sense. So they sneak onto a ship. They don't really explain why. They sneak onto a ship, takes Mary Seacole with her for some apparent reason, and they find one lone Sontaran, and so she pulls out a catapult to take it out, which I think would have been a Doctor Who-y thing had it not been Jodie Whittaker. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. Most other Doctors doing that, I could have been behind it. Like Capaldi, Matt Smith, David Tennant. Like most other Doctors, I would have been behind it. It just doesn't really work with Whittaker, right? So she takes out the Sontaran. And she goes to start fiddling with the control. Meanwhile, on Dan's ship, he's like, hey, he's in the control and said, hey, can I just push buttons like? I will it make it blow up? Probably, yes. Don't go onto an a heavily armed military alien spaceship and randomly start pushing buttons. But it works out okay because he actually makes a phone call. So you see, he turns up on the video call to the Doc, says, the Doctor, Dad, how are you? And they talk to each other. They're happy to see each other. Mary Seacole, fine with all this insane technology. It doesn't bother her in the slightest, right? It doesn't bother her at all. So the Doctor gives Dan his mission, which is to blow up the entire Sontaran fleet. So, yeah, you got to walk, Dan, so you should be able to take care of that. So another Sontaran creeps up on him. He uses a walk on it, boom, and knocks it in the probic bent, but then a whole bunch show up, and he's captured. Back at the Temple of, what's it called again? Whatever it was. I can't remember the name. Temple of... I should have just highlighted it last time I found it. Temple of Anthropos. They head into the temple room and they meet Yaz. And he's like, why does the Doctor always choose you? What's remarkable about you? He's like, and she's like, get off me, your hands off me, Eki Thump. Oh, I don't like that. And Vinder's like, yeah, get your hands off her. He starts firing them. Pew, pew. And they're just completely outclassed. They keep like zipping around. They can't shoot them. They're too quick. And then, they go, no, you can't beat them. They're too strong for us, right? And they start to give a little bit of a info dump. So this is the Temple of Anthropos. The people standing there are some kind of like buffer for time, to stop time running rampant through the universe. And two of those, and the Flux event caused two of them to pop, right? Two of those circuit, so the circuit breakers to pop. So he says, "Yes, I'll attempt to repair it." He causes one of the ones to melt, and then he looks over menacingly and says, "Don't worry." And he says, "Stop! You don't know what you're doing, darling. He's got a lot more idea than you." Oh yeah. Also, when they meet, I forgot. He knows all about Yaz and the Doctor. He knows about. She's written WWTDD on her hand. Oh, God, so I bet. So he knows all about Vinder. Disgraced Officer Vinder. Do you think this will give you redemption? So again, very much seems like it feels like it's supposed to be Captain Jack. What you would have actually cared about the character if it was. It would have had some emotional resonance. So Dan's captured. He's about to be executed. Closes his eyes. And I have to tell you, a lot of people didn't like the doggy last week. I like the doggy, and so he turns up to save Dan. And it's a genuine punch in the air moment. It's like, whoa, yeah, and like I'm finding myself being entertained and elated, right? So, you know, it's just I just think it's too late. Is it too little? I don't think there's enough you could have done. It probably is too little. You need to get rid of Jodie Whittaker, but it's just too late, which is sad. Sad because they're really pushing out the to do their best. However, then it goes off the rails, and this is them. And this is why I'm never, ever going to rewatch this episode. So then we get a very, very traditional 2020 trope. The evil white general. Oh, I didn't mean to say evil. Evil was redundant, as we said. The white general shows up. The patriarchy shows up and begs the Doctor to help. Doctor, I don't know what to do. Please, after dismissing her, right? So what does the Doctor do? Of course, she gloats. She's such a freaking gloater, this one. And then we got this really annoying scene where she gives over her plan. Now, let's be fair. Most of Jodie Whittaker's plans have been utterly moronic, right? Just mind-meltingly stupid. I mean, her Doctor's plans, probably her plans as well. Yeah, probably. I can't imagine her being much smarter. This plan, it isn't moronic, but it's based on the Sontarans being morons, like being genuine morons. So they add a bit to lore. They say that Sontarans, the atmosphere of Earth is hostile to Sontarans, right? And the plan right now, what the Sontarans are doing, they are invading through time so they can take total control of Earth. For no apparent reason, because they were kind of pissed off that Link's had his ass handed to him, right? That's what I can tell. That's what they said. But it's a toxic atmosphere on Earth, but they want to control it. With that toxic atmosphere, they got to go back to the ship for 7 minutes, once every 27 hours, and have new gases pumped in via their probic vent, right? So that's the idea. And here's the real stupid bit. They all do it. Every Sontaran does it at the same time, and they're all completely incapacitated when they have. Why not stagger it? Wouldn't that, and like, again, have some kind of force that could defend. So we got like the evil white man begging the Doctor for forgiveness and help. But you know, like, oh, I see the error of my ways. You were so stunning and brave. And we have a just moronic writing, like genuinely moronic writing. So they head off to the Sontaran ships, the general and a few of the troops, and they're gonna like disconnect all their gas, their probic gas stuff, dissipate it in the atmosphere, so they have to leave, right? So Dogboy and Dan, their mission is to destroy the fleet, so they steal a Sontaran ship. The Sontarans all start going, oh no, I don't have enough Sontaran gas, because again, I'm doing this insanely complicated plot to invade a planet throughout time that I can't use for no reason whatsoever. And the reason they're able to invade it is just because the Dog Boys spaceships formed an impossible boundary around the planet-eating Flux around Earth. I don't know how that's supposed to make sense, but it does. Well, it doesn't, but it did anyway, right? But they slipped in just the moment before that, and they've been like invading history, sort of. So I think so. what was the Sontarans? The Sontarans find Dan and Dogboy as they're crashing through the ships. So Dogboy rips off Star Wars, blows a hole in the wall, and they jump through a vent, which is apparently the refuse tube, right? But it's kind of stupid. They did blow a hole in the wall. So they quick, get in, and that's where it is. And again, we saw this bit in the trailer, and they jump out into the Merseyside as the Sontaran ship crashes through and blows up all the other Sontaran time ships. Because the plan was the Crimea strategy was just a pilot scheme to see if it's going to work. Now they're going to use these time ships to invade every point in Earth's history. I don't understand why can't you just invade like 1,000 years ago and you got it all from there? You know, like the Borg when they took over Earth. Remember in Star Trek? Not Insurrection, First Contact. They said, we're caught in the temporal wait, Captain. They done something in the past. Yeah, they didn't have to invade every minute of the bloody past. One time would have been enough. But again, this is Chibnall. But they cause this like temporal implosion. So now they rip off Star Trek Voyager. Do you remember that Year of Hell two-parter where they end up blowing up the time engine, boom, which wipes it all out of reality, gets rid of that timeline. That's essentially what happens. All the Sontarans vanish. And the Sontarans are leaving, and he said, "Hey!" And the Doc says, "And nobody else is gonna die." And he says, "The evil white general." Oh, sorry, what evil? It's redundant. Drops. Says, "Let me disabuse you of that notion." And he lights the fuse, and it goes off to the Sontaran ships, blowing them up. Quite rightly, actually, I think, because you know, like. I think they needed to suffer some losses to stop it happening again. The Doctor's like, "Oh, Icky Thump, what's going on? Oh, but they were leaving. You're a bad man." He said, "Well, I did it for my men, blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "Oh, Icky Thump, a bit like you make me go, I don't know why I bother." And then Mary Siegler says, "But I'm grateful, Doctor, I'm grateful. So, that's the way I protect the world, because of stunning and brave black women like you." They didn't say black women, but basically that's why. So now the TARDIS has grown a door again. It's a bit funky in there. Weird bits are growing. It's degenerating. She's like, "I don't know what's happening to you." So then she turns back up by Dan, because he knows where Dan is, and picks Dan up to go find Yaz. For some reason, they know where Yaz is. No, they don't know where Yaz is. The TARDIS gets taken over, and they get brought into the Temple of Zorbalov, or Atropos, on the planet Time, which is where they first meet Azor and Swarm in the flesh, plus this other bloke they brought with them for some reason. And they see the terrible fate of Yaz. Yaz has been turned into one of the people standing up in the buffer for time, to make time not run throughout, and Azaz Vinda. Now again, if this was Captain Jack, this makes sense. This all makes sense. Like, Vinda, who gives a shit? I mean, like, really, I don't see what the character is bringing to the table right now at all. But they're going to be the conduits of time. So all I have to do is click my fingers, and all the time will rip through them. They'll rip through them and I think tear them apart. How long will they last? And again, that would make sense if Captain Jack was there, because he would be able to take infinite amount of time. And then we go, boom, in titles. It's reasonably good cliffhanger. Reasonably good cliffhanger. Again, avoid Jodie Whittaker. That's what you got to do. So next out chapter, Once Upon Time. She's like, "Okay, on my command, they're somewhere." Looks kind of like Scarrow, maybe. I don't know. It could be anywhere. And she's falling through the big purple vortexy thing. Looks like the vortex a Timeless Child was found out. But also the vortex that the Master made to go to Gallifrey from the planet that made no sense. Meanwhile, on Dogboy's spaceship, somebody is firing. Not the Dogboy, but he's firing at Cybermen. More falling. Help! Dan, Yaz, and Vinda have division guns. This is some kind of weird vision, because Vinda's meeting Yaz, who's dressed like this. Right, dressed in like this ornate outfit, and then she flickers and turns into this bloke over here. And then, although interestingly enough, here, look at the screen grab. This uniform could be a uniform of the division. And finally, we see this bloke as in next week. So there you go. That's the episode. Not a terrible episode. I mean, again, there's a lot of stuff that was actually genuinely thrilling within it, which surprised me no end. I mean, entertaining. Not the bits with Jodie Whittaker, obviously, but that they existed at all. I mean, I'm sure you agree with me. It's surprising. And again, I always want to give credit where credit's due. So how did it do? I think it got a 3.96 rating. I only got one report of that so far. Let me have a look, see if that's come onto any of the official news sites. Yeah, there we go. We don't have the 7-day consolidated yet. Here we go. So 3.96 rating. And honestly, I feel bad for it. It was better than last week's. It was better than last week's, and it's lost about 10% of its audience. So it keeps doing that. It's going to lose 10% each week. And I think that seems like a fair drop. So next week they lose like so let's say they lose in episode 3.96, so they're down to about 3.6, and then episode 4 would be 3.3. Yeah, look, if they keep with this rate of decline, it'll be under 3 for the overnight. Again, sadly, they don't have the so let's look at Twitter. See if they have it on Twitter yet, right? Because this is where I got this first thing. Let's we'll look up Doctor Who ratings. See if anybody's got anything new. Doctor Who ratings accumulator 3.96. Yeah, but we don't have the 7-day consolidated yet, which I am interested to see what kind of bump it got through iPlayer, which I think is probably a pretty decent bump, right? But everyone's complaining, right? Everyone's complaining about it. And again, other than the awful bits, which I have pointed out, there was a lot to recommend it. So you got, what do we have here? We have, that's a ratings accumulator. Over here, we have this review from Metro. Doctor Who, Flux, War of the Sontarans, iconic villains can't save deeply forgettable episode. I mean, like, you've turned the normies off. They believe it's boring, right? They believe it's 100% boring, and it's 2 out of 5, which I just feel bad for them. Honestly, they're doing their best they can, and they really are genuinely doing the best they can. Even Radio Times, no, was it the Beyond the Joke? Mixed response to John Bishop in Doctor Who Flux. There was a mixed response to Liverpool comedian John Bishop appearing in the second episode of the current series of Flux. I thought he was quite good in there, and I like the bits with his parents, right? I thought that they weren't bad at all. Parents that flicked on Doctor Who because there was a scene in Liverpool. I don't know if they wanted to get into the city's good books. You'd think they'd cast a Scouser instead of John Bishop. Wasn't John Bishop I thought he was a Scouser. What the hell John Bishop's going to do with a frying pan? That won't defend themselves against Sontarans. That's weird. That's true. That's true. So, yeah, I think people are just hacked off with it, right? And then where's... there was a Radio Times article as well. Did I close that down? Even Radio Times is ragging on it, right? So I don't know. I feel kind of bad. I've said that many times now. But yeah, listen. Oh, here it is. Why does Doctor Who Flux keep ruining its own cliffhanger? Previously exciting endings are being spoiled by next time trailers, but there is a solution that. Oh God, shut up, Bulletin. You full of crap. I mean, really, you full of crap. So let's see what the positive. War of the Sontarans have been coming a lot. War of the Sontarans has been a long time coming. We knew the Doctor was facing one of our older, more ridiculous enemies. We have to admit we like seeing them back. Sarah Powell was enjoyable as the role of Mary Seacole. Yes, the Swarm providing an intriguing villain. Yes, he's great. I mean, honestly, he's great. We're still hoping for an epic reveal about what he wants and who he actually is. That's when it's going to, like, fall apart, I think. But on the strength of this, it's holding together. Plus the phrase pathetic temporal hag, definitely using that. Other than that, the episode was a bit of a struggle. Okay, Christian was writing felt more jarring than usual, especially when it comes to John Bishop's character is currently being dumbed down in a big way. Fair. It's fair. Of course, comic relief is essential into Doctor Who, but we're sure John could have bought the comedy without Dan's What becoming almost a starring role of the episode. And is anybody really bothered about Vinder? No, because he's supposed to be Captain Bloody Jack, obviously. Jacob is a wonderful actor who currently seems hugely underused. 100%. 100%. Whether it is down to the series trying to fit too much into 6 episodes, too many guest stars being crammed in, or just simply put, not giving enough screen time, it's difficult to see root for someone who's barely been introduced. Like, yeah, I just so don't care. As for the whole plot with the Sontarans this time round, it just feels like we've done it all before. I mean, listen, they invaded bloody Gallifrey. Why are they invading Earth? Like, what? Like, what's in it for them? We didn't get any sense of danger for our heroes. That's not true. That's not true. There was the scene where Dan was about to be executed. He was closing his eyes, and then the dog guy comes in. There was genuine danger with that, and it was again a punch in the air moment, a genuine punch in the air moment, which I've never seen before in Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who. Until the end of the episode, which has more to do with the overarching story, and everything felt a bit rushed and a bit long at the same time. Such an hour felt like a bit of a struggle. Yeah. However, hopefully that cliffhanger seems with things looking up for next episode. I think next episode is going to be a bad one. I don't know. And Yaz's life in some danger from the short swarm. Kill Yaz. I'll be so happy if Yaz goes, right? I really will. Episode 3 Once Upon a Time has a massively speculated about by fans, and we'll see Dr. Yaz and Dan Vinder battling to survive on a planet that shouldn't exist. We know as time. There's still hope. Maybe. Maybe there's hope. I don't know. So there you go. Doctor Who Flux, Part 2, War of the Sontarans. Very difficult one to score, right? If it was starring Matt Smith, this would... Okay, if this was a Chris Chibnall script, starring Matt Smith or Capaldi with Moffat overseeing it, this would be a 9 out of 10. It really would. But as it is, the drag factor of Jodie is so strong. So it's like, okay, let's say without Jodie, it's an 8.5 episode, right? Add in Jodie, well, no, without Jodie and Yaz, it's an 8.5 episode, right? Take those out. Put them in. You got to take out, I don't know, 4, 5. So it's like 3.5, 4.5 out of 10. Look, this is just what happens when you horribly miscast him, but you lead, right? You just get really, really, really bad TV. I don't want to tell you. But you get, like, again, it's just bad TV sprawled over good TV. So it's a hard one. Okay, take out Yaz, take out the Doctor, 8.5 out of 10. Put them in a 4. Okay, 4 out of 10. One of the highest scores they ever got. They see 4, I think, is probably one of the best scores they ever got with me. Let's have a quick look, see if we got the 7-day rating yet. Hang on. Go over here, click refresh. 3.96, so again, it's an 11% drop. And we do not have the 7-day consolidated. I reckon that's going to be quite strong. They were getting, by the time as child, they were getting about 600,000 bump. They went from like a 1.8 million bump to a 600,000 bump. I think they're going to get a 1.5 to 2 million bump because the quality of it was quite good, right? That's really the bottom line. The quality of it was reasonably good, and I think that gives it a good bump for the 7-day. There you go. I've watched it, so you don't have to. And we got the review in 6 minutes less. 6 minutes less time. But I think that time's been more entertainingly spent. This is much telling. Honestly, this is the better way to watch. Okay, genuinely, this is the better way to watch. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.